the NBA playoffs, I'm excited. I'm watching basketball pretty much all day today. Go watch my son play his baseball game, and as soon as that is over, I will be sitting down watching television NBA playoffs. Who do you like coming out the Western Conference, Eastern Conference, and we'll get into who do you see winning it all. So much can happen between now and then, but each conference, who you guys like?
Man, you know what? I think it's going to be, real tough this year for the Eastern Conference with how well the Milwaukee Bucks have been playing as of late. I just think the only reason why they didn't win the World Championship last year because the injury to Chris Middleton, and now he's back healthy. And I'm just looking at the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They are on the ascend of being two superstar players, a superstar duo playing together. But it just seems in the big game they've been streaky and they haven't been consistently superstar players like throughout these series in which they play in. And then you have the Philadelphia 76ers, who you just said, Joel Embiid, who I think no doubt who led the league with 33 points this year, first in scoring, and he is the MVP for this year. But with all that being said, man, I just really think it's going to be tough. It's going to be a good Eastern Conference. But the Milwaukee Bucks, I think, going to come out of the East. And if I'm looking at the Western Conference right now, I mean, it's pretty much up in the air. You really just don't know. I don't think that the Lakers will beat the Memphis in the first round. I think the Memphis Grizzlies are going to knock the Lakers out. I don't know how everybody else is going to be feeling about that or the league. You think the league is going to let that happen? The Memphis Grizzlies are going to have to beat the Lakers convincingly if they want to move on to the second round.
I don't think
But
they matter.
you,
They
you
don't matter.
just you just
Those two
can't
teams don't
count.
matter.
You just can't count out Denver and the Golden State Warriors. I think that's going to be the Western Conference final for the Western Conference, and I think that series can go either way.
I think it's got to be Boston and Phoenix, TJ. I honestly do. To answer the question, I I like the amount of talent that they have in Phoenix. KD has the opportunity to get from underneath the shadow of him being a product of Golden State, which maybe you don't get out of that shadow because it just is what it is. The Golden
You
State
don't
is
get out of that
what they
shadow
are.
because you joined
Yeah.
Devin Booker, who was one of the most lethal shooters in the game.
Nah. Well, yeah, but they're not as dominant as Golden State was when KD was able to be that guy for them and they won the championships together. There, I think he can honestly say that he's good by himself. I mean, listen, it's a debate, and I know people say, well, he can say he's good by himself. Well, win a championship and be good without being with Steph Curry in the conversation because he wasn't able to do it in OKC when he had Russ and Harden and what was my man's down low.
They were all young then, man. I
Yeah,
mean, come on.
Serge
yeah, but
Ibaka.
Serge Ibaka, yeah, I appreciate it. I think that this is a great golden opportunity, a moment to get hot for Phoenix and pull it out. That's what I think, Pauls. But outside of that, I think it's Boston's time. And it needs to be Boston's time. You're talking about Jalen and Tatum emerging as mega stars and as a mega duo. It's time for them to take that next step. Like, yes,
It
Milwaukee is
is.
playing well. They are playing very well, and I would not be surprised if Milwaukee ended up back in the championship. And you could honestly put Giannis in that conversation for MVP as well. And I wouldn't have a problem with him getting the MVP, especially over some of the other conversations that are taking place. But with that being said, I think it's time for Boston to take that next step. It's the possibility that they could. They're healthy. It seems to me that they should take a next step forward and make it into the finals. But if Phoenix does what they're supposed to do, I could see them making that run and going into the finals and matching up with Boston and probably being able to edge them out.
What you said, LaVar, I can't really disagree with. I believe in the Western Conference, and I'm biased. I want to see the Lakers win, but the way we had to play that playing game against Minnesota and come from behind. If Cat doesn't get in foul trouble, I don't know how that game turns out. I'm optimistic we can beat Memphis. It's not going to be easy with the athleticism that they have. If AD can show up consistently, they can stay injury-free, I can see the Lakers pulling it out. But for me, the best team in the Western Conference is the Phoenix Suns. If KD is healthy, they're the best team in the Western Conference. And they get a tough test immediately in the first round playing the Phoenix Suns. Right out the gate, playing Los Angeles Clippers and Kawhi Leonard. Paul George isn't playing. Will he come back? Who knows? But if they win that series, then they'll play the number 1 seed, which will be the Denver Nuggets. And so I also see them winning that series as well. And so I also see the Phoenix Suns coming out the West when I say we, the Lakers, if we can't get our stuff together.
If we.
Now in the Eastern Conference, there's just so many good teams, man. You know, like I say, the Sixers, they're about to play the Brooklyn Nets. They're about to kick off here in a minute, or tip off here in a little bit. But we would assume it's going to come down to 3 teams: Milwaukee, the Boston Celtics, or the Philadelphia 76ers. And
you still got the Miami Heat.
The Miami Heat. The Miami Heat.
Be a tough out. The Miami Heat.
A tough out. You know who the Miami Heat play, right?
It's going to be a tough out.
You know who the Miami Heat play, right?
They playing Milwaukee, I think.
4-1.
Going home.
4-1. That's going to be the series. 4-1.
Going home.
And the Cavs and Knicks, that's going to be the best series, first-round series, I believe, of the entire playoffs.
Both teams non-factors.
That's going to be a really good series.
Lakers, Grizz, non-factors. They'll be entertaining series. Enjoy them.
Hey, LaVar, you're really hating right now, bro.
No, I'm not. Enjoy them.
The truth.
Enjoy them for what they are. But I'm just telling you, in the grand scheme of winning it all, those are non-factor series.
I don't know about that, but I will say this.
Who out of those teams are going to legitimately contend for the championship?
The Lakers.
No way.
The Lakers.
You tripping? No way.
We just the thing is
they're not making it. They're not making it out of this series.
Turn his mic off, man.
They're not making it out of this series.
They ain't competing.
Listen,
Western Conference.
You got a chance now. I like the Phoenix Suns. Just the Phoenix Suns are good at KD, Devin Booker. You get a ball to either one of them dudes, they get in the bucket. You got Ayton in the middle that can play good defense, block shots, rebound. And so you got Chris Paul who can run the team. If they can stay healthy, when I say they, Devin Booker has missed time with a hamstring. Obviously, KD with his knee and then his ankle. Chris Paul during the playoffs has had hamstring injuries as well. So if they need to stay healthy, the Eastern Conference is the one where I believe Phoenix is the best team in the Western Conference. But the Eastern, some people will say the Bucks. Some people will say the Celtics. You may get a few that say Philly, but it's going to come down to the Bucks and the Boston Celtics. Who's going to represent the Eastern Conference in the playoffs? That's what it's going to come down to.
And it's going to come down to Golden State and Phoenix in the West. That's what I believe. And I know it's crazy because if you go to the betting odds, the odd makers, they have it set up that way, and some of them as well. But I think they got it right. I mean, I've been known to disagree. I've wanted to go with
Golden State, man.
I've wanted to go with Philly. I'll say this, Plex. If it's not Phoenix, it's Golden State. If it's not Phoenix, it's Golden State. That's what I'll say. Out of the West, if it's not Phoenix, it's Golden State. But if it's not Boston, it could be the 76ers or the Bucks, in my opinion.
Western Conference Finals, Denver Nuggets, Golden State Warriors. Western Conference Finals.
Man, y'all really up on Golden State. Like, y'all make Golden State. They can't beat the Phoenix Suns.
You can't count them out.
I have Phoenix winning it all. So
listen.
I have Phoenix
do people not take into account, when I say people, I'm talking to Plaxico and others. Do you guys not take into account that Andrew Wiggins hasn't played in 2 months? Andrew Wiggins will now be back playing. And people can say, oh, Steph Curry, when last year, he wasn't ready. He was coming off injury. He let Jordan Poole start, I believe it was 3 games, and didn't make a big – Jonathan Kuminga and Jordan Poole their playing time now will be affected because Wiggins is coming back to play.
Fresh leg.
I don't care what anybody says.
They're
That's
gonna
going
be
to
better
bother
with
them.
Wiggins. They'll be better with Wiggins.
They're going to not like these decisions that are being made.
You
now,
sound-
they'll
sound
play
like a
with it, and
Lakers
they
fan.
have no choice. But they're
like
not
a
going to
Lakers
like
fan.
that. Say that again.
You sound like a Lakers fan.
I'm sounding
Just
like
telling
somebody that's been in the locker room like you guys should sound.
man.
You've
Hey,
been
man,
playing
take
for
some of
2
that bass
months,
out your voice,
consistent
man.
playing time, and now the playoffs about to start, and you don't know what's going to happen?
Hey, man, take some of that bass out your voice.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
you
no,
know
no.
what I mean?
Answer that.
He
How would
talking-
you guys feel if you were Wiggins, Kuminga or Poole? Answer that.
Hey, answer me.
Answer that. Answer that.
I
You
think
guys
they
are
will
Jonathan
be-
Kuminga or Jordan Poole. Wiggins come back. Now y'all about to play less
Just
minutes.
saying,
Hey,
the
you're
Golden
not
State
gonna like
Warriors
that.
They have a championship pedigree, man. You just can't
Yes,
count them out.
and
say
a
that.
familiar. Their core
Yeah,
nucleus
man.
is so familiar. They've been around each other.
Yeah,
That you
just
ain't got to
can't say
worry
that
about nothing like
they
that,
can't beat
TJ.
them. Of course, they
You
can't.
you reaching right now. Like I get it. I understand.
Okay.
your-
And it's-
I
I get-
understand
I'm
your
reaching. You
athletic-
guys were athletes.
Hey.
You've been playing consistent minutes, and now those minutes are going to stop.
You're-
And you okay with that?
Your analytical IQ
They
is
will make the
super high.
sacrifices.
No.
It's
I'm
super high.
speaking from an athlete's perspective, being in the
From
locker
an
room.
athlete's IQ perspective,
doing what
your
they gotta
IQ
do to
is
win,
really
man.
high. But
Man,
you're
listen.
wrong here. You're
Nah,
wrong
nah.
here, TJ.
Nah,
You're wrong.
nah. Jordan
What they
Poole has
gotta
been
do
paid.
to
He
win.
might be okay. Jonathan Kuminga wants to be paid. I've been playing, and not only have I been playing, I've played well.
You
And
talking
now
about the
my
wrong
playing
thing.
time is going to decrease
That don't
because
matter.
now he's back from his
They
personal
understand that.
issues.
They understand
Nah.
that. But
Nah.
that's how it goes.
Nah. No, they
Phoenix
understand.
back.
They don't
He's
like
going
it.
to- He's going
Phoenix
to make them a
Suns,
better
Boston
basketball team.
Celtics.
And
That's
that's
my
why
pick.
and that's why the Golden State Warriors will not win. That's why right there.
And it
That's
always
why.
seems to me that this time of the season, the playoffs, that Chris Paul always ends up on the injured list. He always pulls that hamstring during the playoffs. And y'all keep saying that the
And guess
Phoenix
what,
Suns
though?
are healthy,
And guess what?
they
And
gonna
guess
win
what?
it.
If that happens to Chris Paul this year, they'll be all right because they got KD and Devin Booker. You tell me, in these NBA playoffs, which one, two would you rather have besides them? And I'm a Laker fan.
Clay and Steph?
Cap.
Nope.
No chance.
Fact.
No chance. You
me
might
Clay
be
and
the
Steph
only
all
one
day.
in the universe that say that outside of Golden State Warrior fans. Ain't nobody taking Clay and Steph over KD and Devin Booker.
If you cut the state of California in half, the people on the lower bottom would be saying the same thing that you would be
Nah,
saying.
bro,
They
that's
wouldn't. They
true.
wouldn't be rooting for Golden State either.
I mean, TJ wants to say AD and LeBron for real. Come
Yeah.
on.